From the very beginning of Italy's fascist rule, censorship in the media was a common and rampant problem. It should surprise nobody that the horror genre was a particular target for their hungry scissors. Most horror films, including renowned classics such as Dr. Caligari and Todd Browning's Dracula, were banned outright. And the few movies that were allowed through the censors suffered significant edits.
There's nothing to see here!
Mr. Mussolini would take a well-earned break from overseeing the use of concentration camps and mustard gas against Ethiopians by settling down to check out a potential horror release and what the bloody hell is this? Is that a prop skeleton in the background? No way, no, unacceptable, get rid of it! Ironic. In the end, he could cut out any shots of corpses from imported movies, but he couldn't prevent his own corpse from being strung up and battered about by the general public. In the decade that followed, Italy's film industry continued to shy away from producing their own horror content. But then, the mid-50s saw Italy's film output finding audiences overseas, which encouraged the studios to branch out in terms of genre. Enter Riccardo Freda, a director who made a bet with a film studio, promising he could produce a low-budget horror movie concept in just one day, and then film it all in just 2 weeks. The studio accepted his proposition, and while Freda realized his goal was too ambitious and abandoned the set, the film's cinematographer took over to rewrite the script and finish the directorial duties. That cinematographer's name was Mario Bava, whose future horror credits would catapult Italy from a country without horror to one of the genre's most successful international markets. Just like some ancient evil, this film is known by many names. Lust of the Vampire, the Devil's Commandment, but in its native country it is Vampiri, aka the vampires. The corpses of young women are cropping up all over Paris, their blood entirely drained from their bodies. While the police venture down rational avenues of investigation, focusing on members of the post-war heroin epidemic, a journalist named Pierre believes the city is under attack from a murderous vampire. His research continuously draws him towards an infamous peculiar family that live in a nearby castle. The family consists of a mad scientist, a once beautiful woman who now sulks about, never revealing her withered aging face from under her veil, and their niece, a still beautiful woman whose natural charms are undercut by her incessant romantic obsession with Pierre. The stakes are raised when a pretty student goes missing, and the journalist suspects the old countess is going full Elizabeth Bathory, harvesting the blood of young beautiful girls to counteract her own aging process. Not only is Vampiri significant as the first Italian horror since the introduction of sound cinema, or as an early footnote in the career of horror legend Mario Bava, the film itself portrays the genre in a period of transition. It is a film of two halves, the old and the new. Classic horror, and the future of the genre yet to come. We have contemporary city environments rife with modern societal issues, but we are also treated to stunning Gothic set design, most notably in the old castle. We have vampires and a scientist with a major Frankenstein complex, but we also have a black-gloved serial killer who stalks young women, a precursor to the giallo subgenre that would take Italy by storm in the following 2 decades. The combined effect is a best of both worlds situation. A special shout out to Bava's uncredited makeup work. The Countess's aging spell repeatedly fails before our eyes, without a single cut or edit. Following a technique from the 1931 Jekyll and Hyde, the makeup applied to the actress only appeared when certain coloured lights were cast on her. The effect is seamless, and a textbook example of the technique in action. It would still take until the early 60s for Italy's deep dive into the horror genre to really kick off, but it's fair to say that Vampiri was a necessary starting point.